I want to run you through this particular chart and just explain the indicators here. I have two charts. On the left hand side is a 15-minute chart. On the right hand side is a 5-minute chart. On the 5-minute chart I have this moving average ribbon, and the blue line is a 12, the purple line is a 26, and the, I suppose, orange line is a 50. Now I'm using the 50 for my major trend, and obviously my middle trend is the 26, and the 12 is the short time trend, okay? The reason I have the 12 and the 26 is because it matches up with the MACD, okay? And the MACD line, which is the blue line, is measuring, I guess, for lack of a better word, the momentum between these two averages on the chart. So when the way I look at it like this is, when the blue line, the MACD line, is pointing upwards, it means there's strong momentum to the upside. There's more buyers in the market. Okay, in actual fact, we really don't even need the signal smoothing, the 9 on the MACD. Okay, it's just I find it a little bit more confusing than anything. I will be looking for longs generally when this MACD line is above 0. Okay, and shorts I'll be looking for it when obviously it's below. But just for this tutorial, I just want to keep the signal light on, because I know a lot of people do have it. Oh, by the way, I have the histogram turned off as well. It's just adding more noise to the chart that you don't already need. And we have a couple of other indicators here. We have a stochastic. I have this set at 5, 2, and 3. It's a little bit jaggedy, but I like how the K line, which is the blue line, it can be pretty fast. And I'm using that as a point of entry. Generally, when it crosses below the orange line on the stochastic, you know, that could mean an entry short, and an entry long would be when it crosses, you know, under the blue line on the stochastic. Now we have the good old CC down here below, commodity channel index. Good old favourite. Here's my settings. I had it set at 20. And the moving average is set at 14. The moving average is the red line. Typically, you know, for longs you want to see the CCI blue line above the red, and also above the 0 line. There's a 0 line in here. And the best trades in the CCI is when it goes right above the plus 100 for longs and below minus 100 for shorts. So, and on the left hand side we have exactly the same. We have the MACD, which is the same settings, 12 and 26, and the CCI is the same settings. And the EMA on this chart is just a 12. Okay, I'm just using that just as a guide, just so it sort of helps me visualize it. But I'm mainly using the MACD on the 15-minute chart to help me with momentum. I want to call it momentum. Okay. Not for trend. My trend is everything is coming off this 5-minute chart. So I'm looking at this 5-minute chart going, you know what, I think a trade's setting up. Then I want to look at the 15-minute chart and go, right, I want to look at the MACD first, and I want to see this blue line of the MACD. Where is it? Is it pointing down? Is it pointing up? Or is it flat? Okay, so this particular chart here is the DAX. Okay, so we can see at the start of the session here, on the 5-minute chart, everything was really flat. Okay, and I don't know who was in control. You can see the 12 and the 26 is dead flat, and you can see the MACD is dead flat also. It's right on the 0 line. Okay, and then after 5, 10, 15 minutes or so, you can start to see the 12 separate from the 26. Okay, and of course the 50 EMA is supporting the trend. Generally, if price is above the 50, we're long, and if it's below the 50, we're short. Okay, that's a simplified version of trend, but you've really got to look at everything. Okay, so we're looking at the start of this session, and we're looking at now straight away I'm thinking, I think it's long, and the reason is because the EMAs are above that 50 EMA and price is above. Okay, I'm not even looking at the stock or the CCI at this point on the 5-minute chart. I go straight over here to the MACD on the 30-minute chart, on the 15-minute chart, and what's it telling me? It's telling me that it is pointing down. If you don't know what pointing down is, you can see here it's pointing down. Okay, is that pointing up? It's not. Pointing up would be like that. Okay, so clearly the 15-minute chart, the longer term chart, is not in trend yet. Okay, it's the momentum is still to the downside, but it's not long before we can see a little bit of change in this MACD. Okay, I'm not looking at crossovers here. This is why I don't really like using this orange line, because you can get a little bit tangled up with going, oh, it's crossed over now I can go long. That crossover happened way up here. Okay, and I really should just get rid of it, but I'm just so used to having it there. So our actual entry on this 5-minute chart would have been around about here. I'll just put an arrow in here. It would have been around about there on this green bar. Okay, because we're starting to see the momentum of the MACD is starting to point upwards. So that's telling me there's buyers coming into the market. There's more buyers than sellers. The EMAs are starting to move upwards, and this is where I now start looking at the CCI on both of these charts. The blue line, where is it? Is it pointing upwards? Yes, it is. On both of those charts, it started to point up early, okay? And then it started to cross on the 5-minute. It started to cross its EMA. It crossed over the 0 line, and you can see on the 15-minute chart, also the blue line is pointing upwards. I'm not too concerned about it crossing over the red moving average of that. I'm just more concerned, which way is it pointing? And then we just want to wait to see this MACD and everything now starting to curl upwards. I'm not suggesting that that's going to be a trade or that it's even going to win. However, I'd be watching that at that point, and I'd be thinking, we're going to go long, we're going to scalp, or I'm going to scalp. And so now I want to look for an entry. And this is where the stochastic comes in. It's messy. I really don't like the stochastic for this, but I can't find anything else that can help me get in. But and I have tried. I've tried many different settings on many different things. So the K line is the blue line on the stochastic, and the D line and this orange line is the D line. Okay, that's just a moving average, a smoother moving average of the K line. And you can see here the K line just pulled back under. Okay, I'd be thinking, you know what? If that turns back up, I'm going to enter. And that's exactly what you do. You would enter as soon as that turns back up, and you just jump in and you hold on for as long as you can. Now this is the DAX, and I would like to get to 50. In my case, that's $50, because I would be trading micro contracts, and then I would put a stop just below this bar here. So whenever it got to 50, I'd put a stop below the previous bar. So I've locked in some profits. And now as this moves up, okay, because I want to make 50 on the DAX. So as this moves up, as price is moving up, we're now at 77, I would bring my stop up, okay, to wherever the 50 was, which is around about there. So I would have put my stop in here. Around about, you know, you don't have to be, you know, too surgical with it. You know, you've got to have a little bit of wiggle room. And let's just say I brought my stop up to here, maybe just under 50, you know. And you just could have ran this all the way, as far as you liked, until such time as prices come back through the 12 EMA. That's what I'm trying to get at. Where do you exit? Well, it's up to you. I like to take 50, I like to put a stop in somewhere, and as price moves up, I will keep dragging my stop up. Let's just say this is a stop. I'll keep dragging my stop up just each time, just keeping it far away, but also locking in profits. And you know, we would have got right up to here, And I would be looking at the indicators now again. So the MACD is still pointing upwards, so that's telling me that there's still strength, there's still momentum in this particular trade. Along with the 15-minute, you can see how it's still pointing up. But around about here, have a look at the CCIs on both of them. See how the 15-minute right here, and I'll have to just put my cursor there, it's a little bit hard to do. You can see around about, definitely on this bar, but on this green bar on the 5-minute, have a look at the CCI on the 15-minute. It's starting to point down. So to me, that's a warning sign also of like, okay, tighten your stops. Okay, lock in more profit or just get out altogether. And as you can see on the 5-minute chart, the CCI also started to duck down. The line started to push down. It doesn't necessarily mean the market's going to reverse. It just could be a big pullback. And what did it do? And in this case, it was a very slow, gradual pullback where the trend did change around about here, and then it went short for a bit, and then I think the rest of the night it went up. Okay, so this is how I'm using all these indicators to trade. Also within this trade, I just want to show you something else, which is right here. So right here, I would have been thinking, I probably would have entered here when my mouse is on the 5-minute, okay? And I'll tell you why I would have entered. Experience, one is experience, and also I would have been watching price for the last couple of hours of it just slowly pushed down. It bounced off this 50 EMA, it pushed down again, it went back up, and it didn't make any new highs at all. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. For 30 minutes it did nothing, okay? Now, the 15-minute chart's the same thing. You can just see there's high, lower high, lower high. It didn't make any new highs. So I'm thinking, you know what? There's either a lack of buyers or there's more sellers. Something like that, okay? So the first thing I do is look at where is price in relationship to the trend on the 5-minute. Well, it's gone under once, it's come up again, and now it's cycling back down, okay? I would now look at the 15-minute chart and go, where is the MACD? Well, it's pointing down. Right here at that point, it's pointing down, around about there. Okay. Also, I want to look at the MACD and the 5-minute chart. Well, it's just gone under the 0 line. Okay, you can see this middle line here. It's just gone under that. Okay, it's sort of flat. It's sort of flat. Okay. The next thing I want to look at is the CCIs on both the charts. Well, at this point, round about here, the CCIs are in a great position. The 5-minute is pointing down at that point. It's below the 0 line, and also on the 15-minute. So I'm starting to get some really good vibes that this thing might short, and I'd be looking for an entry. Okay, and my entry would have come right here. I just can't give you exactly, but it might have been on that bar, and I probably just would have got down to 50 or maybe that, I don't know. And I'm just telling you how, I'm just going to show you how I would have got in. You can see the stochastic came down, it went back up, but there was no significant change in price, okay? And then it turned back over. The CCI did a big one all the way down, and around about at the close of that bar, that's where I would have entered. It would have been a scalp. Yet again, I would have tried to have made 50. I probably wouldn't have made 50, probably might have made 30. Okay. Had I stayed in the trade, I would have managed my trade. I would have had my stop up here initially on my entry bar. You know, I was prepared to sacrifice 1 bar, okay, and that would have been about 18.20, and I would have let price come down. I would have let it come back, and then you can just see it kind of meandered all the way down for 5, 10, 15, 20, no change, 20 minutes. 25 minutes has gone down to 41, and so I'm still looking at all the indicators. What are they doing? MACD on both of them are pointing down. The stochastic on the 5 minute has now started to point up. Now I'd be getting very concerned at this point. And the 15 minute chart, all the indicators are still pointing down. So there's still a bit of momentum, a bit of strength to the sellers. Now I could have got out at this point, or I could have stayed in. So had I stayed in, I would have been going, you know what, it's really not doing anything. And right at this point here, I would have seen this the CCI crossover and has started to head back up, and that would have been a surefire way of me getting out, okay? Even though the 15-minute indicators are kind of pointing down, that would have been my first signal, considering that I stayed in this trade for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 45 minutes without it really moving at all. That's a sure sign that there's just no one in this market is interested in taking it down further, okay? I would have got out, I would have taken what I've got and walked away and gone, you know what, I didn't lose, I made a little bit, and happy days. Go and put these indicators on your chart, get them set up like this, and practice and practice and practice. You're going to love this strategy. It makes you think a lot before you act, and just remember, just because I show you this does not necessarily mean that you will be successful, okay? The market will do whatever it wants to do. Look at this bar here, wham, and straight back down, okay? But by using these moving averages, use the 50 as your master trend. Have a look at price. Where is it? Is it below? Is it above? Okay? If it goes above, we'll wait for a swing using the stochastic to get you into a trade, providing all the other indicators are all doing the same thing. Better to take a small profit than a massive loss and be stupid about it, okay? And by just looking at all this closely, I think you're going to have great success trading in the future. Good luck, traders.